you kind of have to do the same thing with these creatures. There has to be ground rules. And one of the things you said to me, Rick, was this is your house. You have to now go ahead and talk about that real
I'm
quick.
talking about the structure, the authority structure. That just with the demonic, they play by a certain authority structure that was established by God back before time, space, matter, energy even existed, if you want to believe that. But there was an authority structure that he established that was infused into the angelic when they were during their creation. And this is Roman Catholic theology with regard to the angelic realm and all that when it was created and so forth. But there's an authority structure. It's I think part of it's called the divine economy of authority. God established that there's a structure that exists, and I'll give you an example of what this structure looks like. Let's say you're dealing with natural laws of nature. The natural law of nature, if a person owns something, he owns it. And he has spiritual, not only physical authority over it, but spiritual authority over it. The demonic are these things are very legalistic. They're very precise in their approach to these things. So if the demonic exists in a certain area, house, on a particular piece of property, or around an object and so forth, they for some reason or another they were able to get spiritual authority over that object, place, or whatever. And in order to get rid of them, you have to break that authority structure and revoke that permission, so to speak. And it does work. If somebody moves into a house and say, for example, there was some type of ritualistic activity that occurred there that drew the demonic there, occupied that space. Well, they don't occupy space because they're pure spirit, but they affect a particular space because they affect it because they have, they've been given spiritual authority over that area. Now, if this family moves out, another one comes in, the family who owns that particular piece of property has to break that contract, so to speak, with the demonic. Break that authority structure and assert their own authority over their own property. That works. It's almost magic, and they have to adhere to it. But for example, parents have a spiritual authority over their children that most people don't have, and if in being that a parent has spiritual authority over the children, the parent could abuse the child. And if they abuse the child, the demonic will look at that and say, well, they've given that authority over to me. And, they might move in. So
Somebody said in the chat, Rick, I want you to answer this one. It says, the only power demons have in this realm is the power people give them, both knowingly and unknowingly. They do not belong here and have no right to be here. They count on people not knowing that. That's from Luna Blue. What do you think of that?
there's some truth to that. I mean, you can unknowingly, invite a demon. Let's say, for example,
They trick you.
You can invite a demon into your home just by doing some type of ritual, automatic writing, something that would violate the natural laws that you're supposed to live by. But you can invite them in knowingly and unintentionally. I would say it'd be a better.
I was gonna say, like, names hold such power. That's probably one way that they try to do it, right?
Yeah, and there are certain ways, and they can trick you into giving them permission. There's a law of invitation that applies there. They need that particular type of invitation, in their estimation, to occupy an area or affect an area or affect a person or an object or whatever. But you have to revoke that permission and revoke that contract, spiritual contract that existed when they occupied or affected a thing before you can get rid of them. It's a process that you have to go through. So, but in a sense, yes, he was correct. Demons cannot jump from one person to another. It doesn't work that way. There has to be a lot of permission given, a lot of activity. A lot of things a person has to do. Sometimes it takes days, weeks, months, even years for them to become negatively affected. But eventually, they could become very negatively affected by these things by giving it permission like that. Yeah.
A couple good comments in here, Rick. Penny Vance says, I agree with that. I do not entertain thoughts or waste time thinking about demons. They are completely meaningless to me. Giving them thought and talking about them obsessively only, and it kind of stops right there. I get what you're saying, Penny, but the whole point to this is that some people move into places and they have no idea that the people that were there before have allowed these things to be a part of the.
Yeah, it could be a previous owner or somebody owning the property
or whatever.
There's the law of invitation. Then there's another thing called the law of attraction. These things are, believe it or not, a lot of the activity or a lot of these demonically infested areas can include the property that used to have a slaughterhouse on the property. That creates a lot of negative energy and
a lot of blood.
and these things are attracted to that. People who are, has a substance abuse problem, alcohol problem, they if they have a bad problem, that affects your aura. These things can see that in a person because some people hypothesize that the aura is darker in a person who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, and they're attracted to these people because there are open wounds there that they can just seep into, and you have to be very, very careful.